Hey everyone, this is David Brown with the migration update for April 14th, 2025 from the Derby Hill Hawkwatch. I knew today would be a good day and there would be a big crowd, so I got out early. In the morning, it was overcast, so it was a little bit slow for the flight to get going, although we had good moderate southeasterly winds, and those winds did strengthen a little bit, and as we got into the midday period, there were some brighter periods where the low cloud cover went away and we had the sun for a while, and that really launched a really good hawk flight. And then as we got into the mid-afternoon, some darker clouds moved in again and slowed things down other than the low migrants like sharpies and harriers, and then a little bit of sun at the end of the day, but it was too little too late. One of the highlights of the day for me came in the morning when we had this nice combo at the feeder. On the left, we have a male purple finch, and on the right, we have a pine siskin. Here's an eastern bluebird carrying nesting material into the nest box. It was a great day for northern flickers. This was the first big migratory push of them. We had around 70 go by, and we know this one's a male because it has the black mustache. Here's another yellow bird of a different species. We see that this bird is yellow underneath with a yellow throat and a black bib, but no yellow in the wings or the tail. The tail is relatively short and it's got a long pointed bill. This is an eastern meadowlark. With the southerly winds, there were a lot of swallows around today, but they were almost all tree swallows. Here's one of the exceptions. Here we have a swallow that's reddish orange underneath with a red throat and a long forked tail. This is a barn swallow. And we also had the first northern rough-winged swallows of the year that we heard and saw briefly in the afternoon. Here we have a large sparrow that's stripy and has a lot of reddish tones to it and was singing a loud sliding up and down whistle kind of song. This is a fox sparrow. We had another decent push of turkey vultures today with just under 1,000 for the day. And if anything, that might have been a little bit of an undercount because at certain periods, the flight line was pushed way out over the lake. So I may have missed some out there. And there were periods of the day that were a bit more gloomy, so it wasn't as long of a migratory period. I think if we had had better conditions, we would have ended up with a bigger number, but I think there's a lot that have gone through Braddock Bay that are headed our way, so maybe tomorrow or the next day that we have decent winds, we'll probably continue to get a pretty good number of turkey vultures coming through. It was an excellent day for sharp-shinned hawks with over 180. Here we have a juvenile. You can see that vertical brown streaking to the breast. And here's the adult sharp-shinned hawk where we see orange barring underneath. And here we have a similar species, but on this bird we see a very large head extending beyond the wrists that are pushed forward. And we also see a rounded tip to the tail because this is a Cooper's hawk. Here we have a large dark raptor with a large head and a lot of white in the wingpit area. This is an immature bald eagle, and it was a great day for bald eagles with 20 counted as migrants. It was another good day for red-tailed hawks with over 100 again, but it felt like we weren't getting very good views at most of them. A lot of them came through during that peak period in the midday when the flight was quite high overhead or out over the lake. We had a decent flight of ospreys today with 11. Here we have a black and white buteo with kind of skinny angular wings. This is a rough-legged hawk. Here we have another buteo. This one has very squared off wingtips and pale crescents near the wingtips. This is a juvenile red-shouldered hawk. Here we have a raptor with a long tail and long, narrow pointed wings and overall a very whitish plumage. This is an adult male northern harrier. And we had a really nice harrier flight today with 45 total, including a lot late in the day that were coming through low. Here we have a small raptor with pointed wings, so it's a small falcon, and we see a lot of dark streaking to the underside, and we also see a dark tail with some white bands. This is a merlin. Here we have a small buteo in a glide posture. We see a very straight trailing edge to the wings, and we see brown barring underneath and kind of a dark tail with a white band. This is a broad-winged hawk, and this is the adult plumage, which is pretty much all we're going to be seeing as they start to show up. We'd only had 2 broad wings prior to today, and we had another 7 of them today. And as it turned, here's a little bit of a better look at what that tail pattern looks like with the white band. Here's what an adult broad-winged hawk looks like at a distance in the soar. And you can see even though it's in a soar, the wingtips still look very pointed, especially compared to the other buteos. So that's one way that we tell them apart. Along with their very small size, they do very tight circles. So just the way they fly and flap is a little bit different than the larger buteos. And looking at that tail pattern, even though there are multiple white bands, from a distance, you're really only going to see that last widest white band near the tip of the tail. A lot of people came out today hoping to see some golden eagles, and they took a while to get going, but once they started, we had a really good number. I think the first 5 came within about a half hour of each other. And this time of year, we're mostly seeing the immature and the juvenile golden eagles. So most of them have nice white patches in the center of the wings and a white base to the tail. And you can also see that golden nape, the area on the back of the neck here that gives the golden eagle its name. Here we have a small raptor with pointed wings, so a small falcon, and overall it's light colored underneath. This is an American kestrel. The most exciting non-raptor event of the day was that someone's hat blew off and went down over the bluff, so they had to launch a rescue mission to retrieve it. And this is a cute old dog that sometimes wanders up from one of the neighbors' houses and hangs out with us, so came up and took a nap. It was a nice warm afternoon for a nap after all. Taking a look at the eBird report, today we had 67 species. Surprisingly, we only had 1 new species for the season, which was northern rough-winged swallow, bringing us to a season total of 117 species. Taking a look at the hawk count report for our migrating raptor totals, today we had 962 turkey vultures, 11 ospreys, 20 bald eagles, 45 northern harriers. We had 181 sharp-shinned hawks and 4 Cooper's hawks. For buteos, we had 9 red-shouldered hawks, 7 broad-winged hawks, 108 red-tailed hawks, and 1 rough-legged hawk. We had 7 golden eagles, and for falcons, we had 36 American kestrels and 4 merlins for a total of 1,395 migrating raptors. That brings the April total to 12,557, and the season total to 30,860. Taking a look at the forecast for tomorrow, it's looking cloudy with moderate southwest winds for the morning, switching to a stronger westerly wind for the afternoon. So I'm thinking that tomorrow, the morning, will probably be the better time for raptor migration when the wind has that southerly component and isn't overly strong yet. And there should still be a lot of raptors in the pipeline. So hopefully we'll get a good morning. And it should also be a good morning for non-raptors. There should be a lot of migration overnight tonight, and that should continue into a decent morning flight. So it seems like in the morning it could be pretty good tomorrow. Once the winds go more west and get stronger, we may move down to the south lookout, and we may continue to have a decent turkey vulture flight, but I would imagine that the other raptors will probably be lower in number at that point. So hopefully we'll end up with a decent flight for the morning, but just be aware that the afternoon may not be as good. For Wednesday, it's looking windy with on and off snow showers in the morning with a high of only 39 and westerly winds at 20 to 30 miles per hour. So not looking too good for Wednesday. Maybe some turkey vultures pushing through, but otherwise doesn't look like a very pleasant day to be out. Probably a day you can skip, and probably a day I'll be watching from my car at the south lookout. And for Thursday, it's looking partly cloudy with a high near 45 and winds west-northwest at 20 to 30 miles per hour. So we'll be down at the south lookout, and it's an okay wind direction. It's similar to the winds we had yesterday when we had that really big turkey vulture flight. 20 to 30 miles per hour is maybe a little bit stronger than we would prefer, but we'll keep an eye on that as we get closer. I bet Thursday could end up being a decent day. All right, another great day of hawk watching at Derby Hill. We had a good crowd. A lot of people came out and got to see some golden eagles and a lot of other cool birds today. And we're really just coming into the peak period as we're starting to get the first broad-winged hawks of the season, and their numbers can pick up pretty quick. So in the next week or two, we'll probably have some really good days of hawk watching. So I hope you can come out and join us. Hope to see you soon. From Lyco Birds, this is David Brown. Thanks for watching.